And this is one that comes up to both of us frequently, and it happened to us today when we were just in the lobby of the hotel. Currency sniffs. This is a popular one. A lot of people, interdiction units, we want that cash, brother. Let's get me that can opener dog that'll alert on that money. I'll do a very loose typical scenario. Typical scenario is we know this money, they've got hundreds of thousands of dollars. We want to seize that. So get some duffel bags, throw that money in a duffel bag, lie it out in the parking lot, run that dog real quick. If that dog alerts, we're taking the cash. So being that that's mostly a typical way, go ahead and for the listeners and viewers, cover what we should do, what needs to be considered when we're doing currency sniffs, in the sense of we're looking for the nexus to the narcotics part of it. Go ahead and cover that because we had a great conversation. I want others to hear it.
Yeah, this is a very common question. And while in my seminars, I try to get through everything. Sometimes we don't get to currency. So wherever I can get it in there, I will get it in there. So number one issue, and you and I both know this is not going to happen, but you need to have a conversation with your narc officers in advance.
Yep.
And inform them, if possible, don't move the cash.
Yes.
Right? And we know they will because they have ADD, so they're gonna move it.
They're
but
excited.
The reason that we say that is there is one case that it's out of the state of Hawaii, where the court was convinced by the claimant in the case that one of the narc agents who moved the money transferred odor from their hands because they had handled narcotics in advance. They then transferred that odor to the currency and moved it. Now, that's the only case so far that I'm aware of. So an issue we just want to be aware of. So if we can, I'd rather sniff the currency in the environment that it's in, especially if it's a narcotic environment, right?
Yep.
But we know that's not going to happen. It's going to be at some government building, your police station, sheriff's office, or whatever.
They already hooked the car, towed it over. Here we go. The trunk was full of cash. Let's take it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What we don't want to be doing is exactly the scenario that you gave, is we're putting it in a couple duffel bags, or we're putting it in duffel bags, and we're throwing out into a parking lot. It's the only thing that's there. So a couple issues on this, the way that I see it. And we've been very successful using this method. So first thing is we need to talk about some training issues that are related to this. So number one, you can call the United States Treasurer's Office, explain to them you're a canine handler, and you'd like them to ship you out uncirculated shredded currency, right? And they will ship you out of boxes,
It's like 5 pounds.
Like more than you will ever need in your
sure.
entire lifetime. So we have this box from the Treasury. It's uncirculated. It's clean currency, shredded up. So we'll put that out in our training area, right? And we want to be able to show that our dog is not alerting to the material that currency is made
inks,
from.
the
right?
paper, the plastics.
All of that stuff, right? The linen.
Yes.
All of that stuff. So we do that. Now, go to your closest Federal Reserve Bank. I don't know if you can call them. I don't know that you can call them that they would actually do this. But I'm from Chicago area, so we have a Federal Reserve Bank there. If you walk into the Federal Reserve Bank, they have bags and bags and bags of shredded, circulated currency. And it's out there for the public. You can take as much as you want. They'll go back and get you boxes of
Hobbyists
it.
go out and get it a lot of times. They used to sell it. I know you could go online. They don't do that anymore. But you used to be able to go online and get small bags, big bags, whatever. It was shredded, circulated
currency. Right now. I know that I shouldn't probably have to say this, but do not commingle.
Correct.
Your clean shredded currency.
For your knuckle draggers, being funny, don't put your bag of circulated currency in the same box as your uncirculated currency and go, we're going to go train now. Because now you've made your things talk to each other, and we don't want them talking to each other. As Dr. DeGrief would say, keep your odors separate.
Yes. Right, so I'm going to take that shredded, circulated currency from the Federal Reserve Bank. We'll put that into a training area, and we're going to ensure that the dog is not alerting to circulated currency. So now we can show in our training records, right, our dog's not alerting to the material that comprises the currency, our dog is not alerting to the circulated currency. Because for those of you who are unaware, your listeners that are unaware, back in the 90s, the DEA issued a memorandum that said all currency in the United States, or a vast majority of it, is contaminated, right?
Yeah.
And that's when Dr. Furton stepped in and confirmed that there's a vast majority is contaminated with this, but the threshold of contamination was so low that no drug dog was going to alert to.
Handlers weren't training to those low levels because that's
Exactly.
trace or residual amounts, and handlers were avoiding that in many cases. They weren't going down to those low levels to get their dog to find narcotics at that level. So therefore, now it's out.
Now it's out. And there's a great case out of the Seventh Circuit that actually Dr. Ken Furton was the expert witness, and they explained all of that. It's U.S. versus 100,000, blah, 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 whatever the exact amount was. Anyways, so we put these out into our training areas. We can document, of course, that our dog is not alerting to that, dog's not alerting to this. So now when you get called, I always keep boxes. You can go to your local AutoZone, you can go to Walmart or whatever, and they'll give you boxes, you know, and you just keep them folded up in the car, no problem. When you get called out there, first step, number one that I do is I will set out 6 of these boxes, right? They're just containers. That's all that they are, right? So we put them out there, give time, just let them sit there for a little bit. They're in the environment.
And these other boxes, besides the one box that would have, let's say, circulated or uncirculated currency in it in the first run, are there other things in the other boxes?
Well, so first I don't put anything in there, right? I just run the containers so that I can show that the dog ran these containers.
Gotcha.
Dog did not alert to the containers, right?
Yep.
Then we start to introduce these other things, right? And you can introduce other things in the environment or what have you.
So it's first is 6 empty boxes, nothing in them.
Right.
Dog runs these boxes, cardboard boxes or whatever have you. Goes by and goes, nothing's here.
Nothing is
perfect.
here, right?
Great. All right, now.
So now we're gonna go ahead and introduce our clean, uncirculated currency from the United States Department of Treasury. We're going to introduce that into one of the containers. We'll let it sit for a couple minutes, 5 minutes, or whatever your time frame is. Give any odor time to build up within that area. And you can introduce other things into these boxes.
Rubber gloves, canvas bag, whatever
Evidence
you might.
bags,
Evidence bag,
especially if you know that the suspect currency is going to be in a particular, if it's in an evidence bag or something like that, then throw out these evidence bags, or that they were used latex gloves, to handle this. So then put those into the area. So then after this couple minutes or so, you've let the odor time to build up. Get the dog out. I run these 6 boxes again. Right now, I have 12 containers. The dog has not alerted. I have distracting odors within those containers. Put the dog back away. Now I go out and I introduce the circulated currency that I got from the Federal Reserve. Put that in. Again, wait, give some time for that odor to build up. Get the dog back out. Run these boxes again. I've now done 3 runs on 6 boxes, 18 containers, no alert. I can show that the dog is not alerting to the container. The dog's not alerting to the material that the currency is made of. That the dog's not alerting to other distractor odors than latex gloves, the evidence bags, whatever else. And I can show that the dog is not alerting to circulated currency.
Correct.
Right? Now, blind, we want somebody to introduce the suspect currency into one of those containers. And again, give some time for any odors to build up in there. Get the dog back out, run this dog again, right? So I've now run this 4 times, 24 containners. If the dog alerts to one container and that's the suspect money, right? That's hard pressed to beat.
Yeah.
I have 23, no alerts, and I have 1 alert that's a suspect currency. We know that the dog didn't alert to the evidence bag. We know that the dog didn't alert to the material that currency is made of. We know that the dog's not alerting to circulated currency. What would be a reasonable conclusion that this currency was recently contaminated with the odor of one of the narcotics?
And like you and I shared with that handler was also don't hang the whole case on the K9 alert. You have to have one of the nails. It's only one of the nails in the coffin, not the nail in the coffin, which is the answer some of the units want is let's just do this and this will make the case for us. Keep doing your good cop work. Keep making that there's lots of elements to the case that is really the strong stuff. This is just another layer that, like I said, that adds to all of that.
In Chicago, so that's Chicago's K9. That's their bread and butter. Is they do currency sniffs, and that is part of their protocol under their asset forfeiture unit that a dog will run the currency.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So, but again, like you said, what's really important to understand is, as a dog handler, number one, that your protocol is solid, because that's what you're responsible for, right? Your narc agents, they're responsible for making any other nexus or connection,
Correct.
right? Your job is the dog handler, right? So you ensure that your portion, your protocol is solid, right? This is a solid protocol. And but it's one piece of the puzzle. Right, it is one piece of the puzzle, but it's a strong. If you have a solid protocol, it's a strong piece of the puzzle, right?
Yeah.
You know, it definitely has probative weight to it. So,
and this is something you should do in training too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, don't just do this the first time is when you're trying to get cash. Have done this before. Do runs that are also blank. Do change the sequence. Then what you described on training. Sometimes the first run is a blank one. Second time could be this circulated. Third time could be the uncirculated. Just
always varying it
up. Yeah, because that will be something that somebody would look at and go, oh, it's too patterned. They know the third run is going to be the hot run. But if you're in training or randomizing it, then you're helping mitigate that argument that you're too predictive, which is great. You know,
right?
so
and that's key.
Yes.
And that is key. You know, all of this, it all comes back to training.
Yeah.
Right. And that we're
documenting
good, documented training protocols. That is absolutely key.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things that I get when we talk about this in our seminars, our narc agents don't have time to be waiting around for that. Well, hey, listen, this is my protocol. This is the way it's going to be handled. If you don't like it, don't call me.
Yeah, exactly. And you get out of it what you put into it.
Exactly.
And remember, those narc agents are the ones going to court to defend the dog alert. You are.
That's right.
So if they're not willing to do it, that's your call. But maybe you may not want to use your dog.
Right.
You know, because again, you're going to court for that procedure and cutting corners and getting dimed out, and it's your name on that court case that everybody gets to go read through the sheepdogguardian.com website, where we all sit back and go, hey, remember that case? I think we talked about that, and that poor handler got pressured into what a drug agent wanted versus doing what sound dog handling is required to go do.